I'm not going to lie, this part is starting to get to me a bit. It's not even about the weight not moving anymore. It's waking up, stepping on the scale and seeing the same number time and time again. And I've been telling myself it's fine, it's part of the process, it's okay. But when it's the same thing every single morning, it does start to wear you down. And I think that's part people don't really talk about, because it's not one bad weigh-in, it's seeing the same number over and over again. And you start second guessing yourself, am I doing something wrong? Has it stopped working? Or is this just how it goes from here on in? Happy Saturday everyone, I'm Manda's Midlife and I've been injecting Mounjaro into my little wobbly belly now for the past 9 months. In that time I have lost 72 pounds. Now, this channel is all about documenting the highs, the lows and all the bits in between. Today is Saturday, so that means it's going to be a little bit of an update and I'm going to read out some of the questions that you've been sending in, and there's some really interesting ones today. I'm also going to give you some news regarding this. That's all going to be coming up a little bit later in the video, so stick around and we'll get on with my weekly update. So my thumbnail this week said getting fed up, and I'll be honest with you, I am getting fed up with it. I am getting frustrated with this, and I am really struggling to understand why I'm not losing weight at the moment. I'm not having bad days. I'm trying to be as consistent as I possibly can. And guess what? This week, back to the gym, 3 days this week, and I'm feeling great. But the frustration is really mentally draining at the moment, and it's really making me wonder what's changed, what's happened, why does it feel so different? Am I doing something wrong? I know I need to make the changes, and I've started doing that this week. I've had a bit of a reset on Monday, and things have been feeling great. But what I need to be aware of is not over adjusting now, because there is a temptation to eat less or do more. But what I need to remember is I don't need to panic. I don't need to overreact. I just need to do the things that I know work for me and have worked for me for the majority of my Mounjaro journey. But ultimately, why I'm taking this medication is to lose weight. I'm not at maintenance yet. I know it feels and sounds like my body's saying to me, oh, you're in maintenance now, Manda's Midlife. But that's not where I want to be. That's not where I need to be. I've still got weight to lose. I'm all about the focus now, all about the reset, and all about trying to create those habits that I know work for me. They did work for me. So I'm not drastically cutting back on food. I'm not going to overtrain, and I'm not going to chase that scale daily, because that isn't a healthy way to do this. So I'm back on the Hume pod, and I'm only going to do that once a week. So I'm now going to start weighing on a Friday. I'm up in my fibre, I'm up in my protein, I'm up in my hydration, and I'm doing my very best to track everything that goes in this little fat mouth of mine, because I have got to get to grips with this, because I cannot continue spending this money every single month and literally staying the same weight. And staying the same weight would be amazing if I was on maintenance. I am not on maintenance. I'll be brutally honest with you all. This last few months has been mentally so hard, so hard. And what I really want to do is post a video with some great news and go, yes, I lost £3 this week. Yes, I lost £4 this week. It's just not happening at the moment. It's really not happening. So for me, it's about figuring out why that is. I just feel like I'm getting fed up with it. I just don't feel like I'm getting anywhere at the moment. I mean, that's not me saying I'm stopping, because I've committed to this journey, and I'm going to carry on committing to this journey. Ultimately, if I was to stay the way I am now, would I be happy-ish? Happy-ish, I would say. I'm 5 stone lighter than I was when I started. But again, I'm not where I want to be. That magical goal is where I want to be. And then if I was to get to the point where I am now, where I'm taking the medication and I'm not losing weight, then it'd be double thumbs up. I'd be more than happy with that. So I did say I had some news regarding the pens. Now, it's been heavily publicised, it's been heavily rumoured that the pens are changing, and that was supposedly from the 1st of April, or certainly it was in the UK. Now, my new pen turned up this week, turned up on Wednesday, and it's exactly the same. There's no difference to it whatsoever. So if your pen has turned up and it's the old style pen or it is even the new style pen, let me know down below in the comments, because I'll be interested to see if anyone in the UK has actually received one of these new style pens yet. But mine is definitely not one of the new style pens. And if you're one of those people that's very good at reading between the lines, you'll understand what I'm getting at. Right, next up, we are going to be reading out some of the questions you've sent in. As always, I am not a medical professional. I never will be a medical professional. It is just me sharing what I've learned on my journey and trying to help out anyone that may have a question who perhaps needs a little bit of help or a little bit of guidance. But it is purely Amanda's midlife doing his best to answer the questions in a non-medical style. So first up, we have got a question from Douglas Lamb, 8709. Q&A, your goal weight, how did you work it out? Was it just a number you wanted or worked out with measurements? Thanks for sharing your experience. Douglas, my goal weight was purely something that I'm going to say dreamt up, but you know what I mean. For a long time, maybe 6-7 months into this, I didn't have a goal weight. I was just going to see how I felt, see how it was going and take it from there. And then when I hit the multiple stores, I thought maybe mentally I need a go weight to aim for, and that's where that go weight came from. I'm 6'3" tall, and if you follow my BMI, you follow all the advice, my go weight should be somewhere around about 13.5 stone, and I've set my goal weight for 16 stone because I feel that's a realistic target to aim for, and it's probably a target that when I get to, fingers crossed I do get there, I would feel happy in myself. And I think that's way more important than using sort of BMI calculators or any kind of maths to work out where you should be. Do it on how you feel, do it on how you look, and speak to the people around you as well, because as infuriating as I find it when people say, oh, we've lost the weight, don't need to lose any more, if you're heading into a zone where perhaps you're losing too much weight, they're going to be the first that I tell you anyway. So it was purely done on how I feel I'm going to look, how I feel I'm going to feel, if that makes sense, when I get to that weight. But it's a great question, Douglas. Thank you. Right, this week we've got another great question from Georgia Bonetti, 6993. And it's basically, did you ever come across people on Mounjaro who've been playing about light head episodes? It started slowly for me. At the beginning, it was almost imperceptible, but lately it's becoming a problem. Every time I stand up from a sitting position or bend down, I need a couple of minutes to regain control of my head. I did have a few issues probably 5-6 years ago where I was suffering from AF, and that caused me a lot of dizzy spells, but I managed to get an ablation on the NHS, and that has pretty much solved it. Now, if you have a look at a channel and it's Mounjaro with Ali, and that's ALY, he's experienced dizzy spells a lot in his journey, so it might be worth checking out some of his videos. He's actually in maintenance now, I believe, but he does go quite in depth on the sort of symptoms that he experienced when he was getting his dizzy spell. So worth checking out his channel, and it is quite well documented that it can cause dizzy spells, but there are a number of reasons. Again, not a medical professional. Dehydration can be a big factor. Low blood sugar can be a huge factor. I did have one sort of really bad dizzy spell when I was in a meeting. There is a video about that. And yeah, it does happen. But rapid weight loss can also cause blood pressure changes. If you have a look at Gav's journey to weight loss, he had an incident in the night very recently, and it was put down, I think, to the blood pressure medication he was taking. So if anyone's experienced similar, just pop a comment down below for Georgia, and I'm sure she would appreciate it. I have a great question now, and it is from Charlie, a ZG, a 3WK. Q&A for next week. I'm currently losing weight consistently on 3.75 to 5 milligrams of Mounjaro. Would you be able to talk about loose skin? I'm concerned that I'm losing over 2 pounds a week and that I may look like a deflated balloon if I carry on. I'm also really worried about Ozempic face, as some call it. Have you been able to avoid it? And if so, what have you done? Now, I keep saying I'm going to do another video about this. I did do a video, and it was quite a long time ago, where I did a belly reveal. Yeah. And it's actually not too bad. And I did actually describe it as a slightly deflated balloon 3 or 4 days after a child's party. I've managed to avoid it, and I've managed to avoid it reasonably well. and I put that down to the fact that I do try and go to the gym. Yeah, I've lost a lot of weight. 72 pounds is a great amount of weight, but if I go to the gym, it's got to be a good thing, isn't it? You've got to be looking at making those muscles bigger, and then hopefully, now I'm not a scientist, not a medical professional, but if you get those muscles bigger, they're going to fill that space better, aren't they? So that's kind of what I've done. I will try and get a video out at some point in the future, and hopefully I can sort of highlight what I look like under all this clobber. So it's a great question. It's a bit of a payoff really between losing weight and having a little bit of that sort of deflated balloon look. Ultimately, it's going to happen a little bit regardless, and it is part and parcel of losing weight. And you've got to decide, do you want to lose weight or do you want a little bit of deflated balloon skin? For me, I'm happy to get that deflated balloon skin because it means I'm healthier, my longevity is hopefully better, and I'm a healthier, more agile, mobile person. But yeah, it's part of the journey, to be honest, Charlie. So yeah, it's an unfortunate side effect, I think. We got another one from Scott F2199. What are some of the old habits that have slipped into store your progress? It's a really tricky question for me because I feel like I've been in the zone. I feel like I'm doing this right, and I feel like I'm doing all the things that I should be doing as I did back when I was losing a decent amount of weight every week. Now, a lot of people point out to me that as you go through your journey, it gets harder because you've got less to lose. And yeah, I get that. Habit-wise, I don't think I'm eating more than I was, but I'm not losing weight, so I must be. I think there's a little bit of self-sabotage. I think maybe before, when I would eat perhaps one biscuit and track one biscuit, I think maybe now I'm eating 2 biscuits and still only tracking 1 biscuit. I feel like I got sort of misguided away from tracking a little bit because I felt that I could work it out myself. So if I was to have a meal, I could look at it and go, yeah, that's probably about 800 calories, or yeah, that's probably about 500 calories. So I think one of the sort of habits that sort of slipped back in is maybe a little bit of snacking outside of my tracking. And that's where I've had to reset this week, where everything that goes in here is getting tracked now. Because as I mentioned quite vigorously earlier, I'm getting fed up with this now. I'm getting frustrated. But those are some of the things to look out for, Scott. For me, it's all about being strict with myself. It's all about staying in the zone. And I suppose if you're in the zone for a long time, it does get harder, doesn't it? Right, this is a question that's been emailed in by Melissa. And basically, Melissa is asking if any of the viewers of these videos have experienced anything like this before. And it's a little bit different than what we would normally do. So Melissa's on a Mounjaro journey, the same as we all are, or the same as we are, or we're considering doing. Now, she's suffered from something called Ozempic feet, and it's actually fat pad atrophy. And it's a loss of the fat pad on the bottom of the foot due to extensive rapid weight loss. Now, she's really interested. She's done a lot of Googling, she's done a lot of research, and she's not getting a huge amount of feedback on it. And it does sound like there's an option to have an operation to reinstall that fat back onto her feet. It's basically the fat pads on the bottom of your feet, which are your sort of natural shock absorbers, have gone. So you've lost that fat, you've lost that weight, but you've lost it on the bottom of your feet, and it can make walking really, really painful. They do say it's very similar to feeling like you have a pebble in your shoe. So yeah, Melissa's really sort of reaching out to say, has anyone else experienced it, and what have they done about it? So if you've heard of this, or you know of this, or you've had experience of this, pop it down below in the comments. And hopefully Melissa did say she's going to keep an eye on the comments to see if there's any sort of feedback that she can take from it. So that would be fantastic if anyone has got any info on that. But thanks for your question, Melissa. It's an absolute cracker, and it's not something I've heard of before or experienced before. So thanks for that. Rightio, so that is it for questions this week. Like I said earlier, if your question hasn't been read out, it doesn't mean your question is no good. It doesn't mean I didn't appreciate your question. It doesn't mean it's a crap question. It just means I need to limit the length of the videos on a Saturday. So keep an eye out, it will be on a future video. If you do have a question in the meantime, market Q&A, pop it down below in the comments and it will get read out on a future video. Now, just wanted to say thanks everyone for the support of the channel. If you could like this video, it would be absolutely amazing. If you're watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. It helps you make more than you'd ever imagine. This channel is all about sharing my experiences, documenting my journey, and hopefully helping you along the way if you're considering taking GLP-1s or Ozempic or Mounjaro, any of those crazy medications that we take, and sharing my experiences of taking this medication, the highs and the lows, and like I say, all the crap bits in between, which is kind of where I am at the minute. I will have another video out on Wednesday. In the meantime, I will pop a few of my videos on the screen right now, and the all-important subscribe button will also be there too. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for sharing a little bit of your Saturday with me, and I will see you on Wednesday. Take care now.